Wouldn't be surprised if the show started now and this is the intro.
This is exactly what people are hearing right now.
Yeah.
Guys, so frequently when I'm doing when I'm putting the show together, or even just trying to like schedule the live stream, I'm working on like a Retropolis 2 review, and I've got other things going on, trying to script the top 25 and just like a list of other shit. And I was like, oh shit, like, what are we going to talk about today? And I was like, oh, the Kayak VR Rapids update, right? So this thumbnail with Kayak VR Rapids in massive letters, in a screenshot from the trailer of the mass of like of going through the rapids. Is like, this doesn't. Maybe maybe I should have played the DLC before making the thumbnail.
Oh yeah,
yeah, good. Yeah, because those rapids are like 5 seconds long.
Yeah.
that is not. This is an inaccurate thumbnail. That's all I gotta say. So, you guys ready to do this thing?
Yeah. I didn't look at the thumbnail. Is that okay?
But the thumbnail does say PSVR GamesCast live, and that is accurate.
I mean, we are live. We should call it PSVR GamesCast late, because we're definitely late as well. Also accurate.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah, actually, Wes, I like the trend that Wes is setting. Wes said you don't look at the thumbnail. It's like, if everybody out there could close their eyes and also not look at the thumbnail, then maybe we could just pretend this whole debacle never happened. You guys ready to do this?
Let's do this.
Let's go. This is PSVR Gamescast Live. We film live every single Wednesday. Right here on YouTube. We do it live for your viewing pleasure right here on Without Parole. See how I changed it to get rid of the PSVR? I got rid of the PSVR because somebody reminded me in the comment section today. They were like, hey, your new channel name's lame. You should change it back. No one has any idea what kind of videos you make on this channel now. Oh, right. Thanks for reminding me to get rid of PSVR everywhere on the channel. My name is Brian Paul from Without Parole. These gentlemen over here to my right, it's Miles Dyer from youtube.com/Miles. Miles, why don't you change the name of your channel? People have no idea what kind of content you make with a name like Miles Dyer.
True. It's just a nice surprise every time you tune in, because even I don't know what content I'm making on there. So it's just like, I just turn up and then what happens.
Turn ups.
So that's yeah.
I sweep potatoes.
Turnips. Yeah.
Turnips. And Wes Dillon groaning from the right-hand side of the screen from our sister channel, Virtual Strangers. What's up, Wes?
What's up, Brian? What's up, Miles? What's up, Game Cats? When we first started our channel, this was like a long-standing, ongoing debate that we didn't have VR in the name of our channel. And like everyone I talked to from VR YouTube's like, all right, guys, you messed up. You didn't put VR in the title. Nobody's going to know what you are. And then I said, well, you have me mistaken for someone who wants to be a popular YouTuber.
This big.
And right, exactly.
Yeah.
But no, doing well. Keeping my fingers crossed. I hope everything sounds okay. People, I'm sure the chat will let us know if it doesn't.
This is the best you've sounded in weeks.
You sound really good.
Yep.
I like it.
Lost my PC in the trash then.
Yeah, no, I mean, if anybody didn't check out the first 40 minutes of Virtual Strangers on Monday, was it? Holy crap, dude. Like, listen, I tune into you guys to kind of hear what's going on in the world of PC, VR, and Quest and whatever. But, like, man, I just had a blast hanging out with you guys while you were troubleshooting audio problems. I think it's going to go down in history as one of my favorite episodes of Virtual Strangers ever. So make sure you guys go over, click the link in the description below, and subscribe to Virtual Strangers so you don't miss out on that kind of stuff. And if you did miss out on it, go watch the replay. It's up there, VOD. And while you're subscribing to things, make sure you subscribe to Miles Dyer at youtube.com/Miles. Spread the VR
love to have you
around. But we don't know what kind of content he makes, so like fucking, you're rolling the dice big time.
Don't know. It's just a surprise. Subscribe, and you can unsubscribe again. But then subscribe again later because it might be something completely different. You never know.
I'm so confused. How many times am I supposed to subscribe?
Just don't know. Just whenever you feel like it. Okay. Freedom, man. It's freedom.
Freedom. Sorry, I should have gone Rage Against the Machine. That would have been way cooler. Yep.
Yeah, right.
While you're clicking links in the description, make sure you come join our Discord. That's where we hang out 24/7. That's where I hang out 24/7. I'm usually in a voice chat trying to be distracted from work. And so thanks to everybody who keeps me distracted while I'm working. You guys are the best. But another great reason to join us over there is because you can get your question into the viewer takeover channel without spending a single penny, right? You can tip right here on the show and we'll read your questions or your comments live. But you know what? You can do it for free over on Discord, just like Snafu did, a name I haven't heard in a little bit. In this comment, we'll tell you why. He goes, "Yo, hope you guys are rocking hard as always." I'm glad he said rockin' hard as always, because he easily could have left. You know what? I just want to let you know that living in the past has paid off once again, because I picked up Blood and Truth for $5 at a GameStop. Very excited to finally play it when the roommates are out / unconscious. Have a great show. Meow. Thank you very much, Snafu.
Meow.
What do you guys think of, like, if you weren't running YouTube channels where you kind of had to stay up on current VR games? What do you think of this whole idea of saying, you know, fuck what's happening right now and stay about 5 years behind the rest of the world in order to play everything for super cheap? And kind of, I mean, I think it also removes you from all of the modern day video game drama that's happening, right? There's no way that Snafu cares that Astro Bot does not have PSVR2 support, right? He doesn't give a fuck. By the time he gets to PSVR2, Sirens of Mind, Astro Bot will have like multiple PSVR2 games, wishful thinking. So like, is this the way to do it? Like, if you're not us?
I kind of do it with some gaming, like the big single player games. I'm so late to the party. It's like no point getting a new game because I've got a backlog. And so you can always do things on a bit of a lag. And then I also went through a period years ago with music where I would listen to albums like 1 or 2 years after. And, you know, it's not so much of an issue because obviously music is a much shorter experience than games. But it did mean I got to experience them for what they were, not the hype of like what reviews were saying and drama and things. You just got to appreciate it for what it was. So the fact we're speaking to someone who's in this, you know, this past reality of enjoying PSVR, I think that's magical.
I'm all for it.
Yeah,
I'm all for it. You know, I would probably be more like that anyway, if it weren't for Roots. Like, I'm all the time like trying to revisit titles and just cover stuff that we covered 2 or 3 years ago that we never quite finished. And he's like, "No, we already talked about it. We need to move on to something new." So yeah, I think it's absolutely the way to go. My backlog right now is literally hundreds of titles. Now I don't know about, you know, if you should absolutely wait years before buying new titles. But if I were just a gamer and not, you know, a YouTuber and somebody that works in the VR industry, I would very much be only picking up, you know, foolproof, fail-proof, the best of the best titles that come out. I would not care about the minute-to-minute, day-to-day indie stuff that comes out unless, you know, someone were to recommend it to me or something like that. So I think that's the way to go, honestly.
Listen, I want to read Living Legends tip here, but I see that we have a plea from the comment saying, from Loudface, saying, "Help! What's up with Saints and Sinners? Do I have to buy the PS5 version? I already owned the original and the PSN copy. Why is it not a cheap update? I have to pay $40? Confused. To my knowledge, you should be able to. Is it? I can't. I see. At this point, I can't remember if it's a free upgrade or if it's a paid upgrade, like $10 upgrade, something like that. But I thought that they got that all worked out. I thought it was a free upgrade. Is somebody with a better memory here in the chat? I thought they got that worked out, and it should work now. But
I'm actually reading a Reddit post here from a year ago that says there seems to be a lot of confusion regarding the upgrade path. If you own the standard version for PS4, whether from PS Plus or not, you will need to get the PS4 version of the tourist upgrade. This appears to be for digital owners only. So I think and then after that, you then can find it in the add-ons for the upgrade. Do not get the PS5 version of the tourist edition upgrade. This is only for people who have the standard PS5 version and want to upgrade. It's not for people.
So we're talking about Saints and Sinners here, right? Am I right about this?
Yes.
And you're saying people who own the tourist edition get the free upgrade, but if you don't own the tourist edition, you don't. Is that correct?
But that you can upgrade to the Tourist Edition on PS4
Right.
in order to get the upgrade. Is that? Because they've always allowed you to upgrade if you own the standard edition. I believe that's how it works.
That's weird.
I think it's well, people in the chat saying you need to upgrade the PS4 version to the Tourist Edition, then you upgrade it for free.
I want how much is the upgrade to the Tourist Edition is the question. It's gonna be like $10, right? Because I think it was $40 versus $50.
I love that this was something that was resolved ages ago, and like this is how confusing it was.
Let's see here. I would submit that if you live in North America and wait a minute. Never mind. I was about to throw some keys out, but I think I have keys for different things. My bad.
Oh yeah.
I thought I had keys for that, but I don't.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna
and
drop.
Also, no free upgrade via disc unless you email for it. Yeah.
Oh, but is that what it said a year ago, or has there been an update since then? Because the last I heard was within the last couple months, somebody popped in their PS4 disc, and they were able to upgrade to the PS5 version.
Right.
So I think that's been rectified. That probably didn't help at all, but hopefully we steered you in the right direction, sir. Always trying to help everyone out whenever possible. Living Legend with the Canadian $5 tip says, Happy West Day, cats. Wouldn't it be cool to find out if the next Astro Bot game will feature an idle animation where Astro Bot suddenly pulls out a PlayStation VR 2?
And then stamps on it.
And stamps on it, and it breaks into a million little pieces.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Yeah, we're going to talk about a little Astro Bot in just a minute here. We got Awesome Tatum with the $5 saying... Okay, can't get it on the screen though. Says, screw Astrobot, I want Sly Cooper in VR. I was watching Sonic play Sly Cooper 1 that's now available for $10 on
I was going to say, they've just added it, haven't they? Yeah.
Yeah. Looks exactly how I remember it, that's for sure. It is not like the HD version from the PS3. It is the PlayStation 2 version, just like up-res, so it doesn't look like garbage on our new TVs. Oh, look at Wes in the chat, throwing out Chapter 2 Payback Edition upgrade. I think I have one of those floating around too.
Out. Yeah. Just handing them out like candy.
Kill Artist 1, the Dreamweaver Game Cat with the $5 tip says, I survived my first Spartan Beast race since before COVID in Cincinnati on Saturday. Just now physically able to play VR today. LOL. Synapse today. Congratulations, man, on finishing a Spartan Beast race. That sounds impossible.
Yeah.
Wow. Bailey with the $2 tip says, Gamescast, woo woo. I should have read that all ahead of time, but thank you, Bailey. God. All right. Yeah, man, let's talk about some Astro Bot. There's definitely some stuff going on today. I saw on our Discord early that people were already talking about this. So it's on everybody's mind. We're going to use the Push Square article hey, wait, where did Miles go? Hold on a second. I'm
here.
No, I know you're here, man. This is the one.
I'm here.
This is one weird OBS thing that happens.
What a load of BS.
OBS.
BS.
OBS. Hold on, I'll get you on the screen. Hold on. Is that you? There you are. There we are.
Hey, I'm back.
Hey, Miles. It's good to see you.
Good to see you both. What are we talking about today?
We're going to talk about Push Square, the Push Square article that I'm going to read right now.
Oh, nice.
This comes to us from Stephen Telby.
Hey, Stephen.
The headline reads, PS5's Astro Bot doesn't support PSVR 2 because it was never designed to do so. That's great headline. It says, while general statement around Astro Bot, the upcoming PlayStation 5 platformer, is very positive, some of the character's most hardcore fans are a little disappointed to see a lack of PSVR 2 support in the latest adventure. Indeed, the character got his start with Astro Bot Rescue Mission, a PSVR exclusive and an excellent platformer in its own right that really takes advantage of the immersive medium. So, how come the new game doesn't utilize Sony's current generation headset? We asked creative director Nicholas Doucette about this during an interview at Summer Game Fest. And the answer is quite simple. It was never designed for PSVR 2, and so that wouldn't make sense. He says, So we focused 100% on this one from the get-go after Astro's Playroom. It was the hope. That if it was welcome, it could be a platformer that stands on its own feet, and we could go off to make a bigger version of it. He says, explaining that was the intention. Either I'm having a stroke or this is horribly written. Explaining that it was always the intention. It's me, it's not them. To follow up their pack-in tech demo with a full-blown PS5 game. So no PSVR2 was not a consideration, he says. When we talk about VR versus non-VR game for a game like Astro, if you're to make a VR version, it has to be fully designed for that medium. And if it's not a VR version, it has to be fully designed for that medium, he elaborates. Certain games can't afford to be hybrid, like first-person games. He said hybrid, by the way, which is something that we haven't really heard from Sony, really, ever, right? We leaked that years ago, and then no one from Sony has really said the word hybrid. He says, like first-person games, because there's a closer similarity, but in our case, the design philosophy for both are very, very different. So, it was a decision to expand on the world of Astro's Playroom and bring Astro to the big stage. So from the beginning, that was really our focus. That's it.
They have it.
What are our thoughts on this?
I mean,
I'm so angry. Go, Miles.
I mean, my straightforward. I actually do. I don't agree with them, but I actually believe they're completely well-intentioned and legit. They are such a high-performing team that really optimize for platforms when they create their games. They've always smashed it out the park. And so for them, I think a hybrid game is totally feasible. But for them, they're just like, no, if we wanted it to be VR, we'd want it to be VRAF. And so we're not going to consider it. That's kind of the way I read it. I respect that to some degree, but I also fundamentally disagree with that. And I would have been completely happy with just being able to play it from a VR perspective. Like, it would have been just incredible. Choice. Just give choice. What about you, Wes? You're angry.
Let's be honest here. And I agree with you. I believe that Mr. Douchey or Douchette,
wow.
I think he's being very honest. I don't care. I'm angry. I believe he's being very honest when he says that that if it were going to be a VR game, it would need to be a VR game from the beginning of development. It can't be both. It has to be one or the other. It can't be both. I believe that he believes that.
Yeah.
He's very wrong about this. And in fact, when he says that, some games can be hybrids, like first person, but it just doesn't work for platformers. Like, he's like completely opposite of reality there.
Because isn't platforms the easiest for a hybrid?
It's the easiest one to put in hybrids. He's acting like, because let's think about Astro Bot Rescue Mission for a moment and what makes that VR AF. I mean, there's some stuff you can do with the tracked gamepad where you're throwing ninja stars in the walls and popping balloons with it. And there's a few places in the game where you use your head to bash into things. But I always kind of felt like that stuff was just gimmicks. It wasn't stuff that made the game what it is. That was just stuff to say, hey, look, you're in VR. We're playing with you. Isn't this cool? The game was great because it was a great platformer and it was fully 3D and you were in the world with it. And I feel like any great platformer works in VR simply by putting it in the headset and turning it on. Now, I'm sure there could be some outlier situations where that I'm not aware of, that it's a bit uncomfortable to experience something that wasn't quite made for VR. But this guy is so off base, and I'm upset because it's time to get over it, guys. This is the death knell. It's not in development. I mean, it may come one day. They may decide, because of all this passion, that they want to adapt it and make it VRAF. But the guy said it was never a consideration from the beginning. And that means that it's not happening.
Listen,
And
It's so true because like when people show you who they are, believe them, and it kind of reminds me back in the day when there was the whole Twitter discussion about like Fortnite VR, and Tim Sweeney stepped in and was generally asking like, would this be something we'd really want to consider? The moment he said that, it was like, well, Fortnite VR is definitely not being considered because like the CEO is basically now asking if it's even saying the fact that Nicholas is saying this here. It just goes they've not even considered it in that way. Like their philosophy of VR is just out of step, and therefore it's not going to be something that's developed. Before I leave it to you, Brian, I just want to ask a question to you both. This whole thing about like the controller, is have we actually confirmed yet that it's not possible to use the DualSense controller as a tracked item with the PSVR2 headset? The reason I ask that is I'm not saying they're being disingenuous here and like doing PR lying, but is it a thing where for them, it's like if we did the Astro Bot for VR, it would have had to have been with the Sense controllers, and there were certain like functionality that would have needed to be using the DualSense controller, and therefore they didn't want to do it. I'm wondering if that's into play of it as well. And it's not to say that's something that couldn't have been overcome. It certainly could have been, but I'm wondering if that's something that maybe halfway down the development, when PSVR2 came out, they were like, yeah, okay, that's something that complicates it a bit. Again, not saying that's a reasonable excuse.
Listen,
but
I mean, how much is it being tracked on the flat screen? That's the question that we brought up last time. Right. And I think that's important to say, well, listen, it's not like it's being tracked around the room one-to-one, right? It's maybe maybe the angle of it is being tracked because with the accelerometers or gyroscopes or whatever the fuck are in these things. And so, so it's not like it's reacting one-to-one on the flat screen, right? And so
you're right.
Would it be weird in VR to be like, oh, I see it turning because I'm turning it, but it's not going up and down with me? Is this literally the reason that we're not seeing this game in VR? Because that's what's just not VRAF enough about it. The whole thing seems kind of ridiculous. I see this as somewhat of a positive takeaway, though, or I'm taking. You guys know me. I'm always fucking way too positive about this shit. The word has definitely reached their ears. Everybody tweeting hashtag PSVR2, or every single time they tweet about Astro, or every single time they mention Astro in the blog, the comments are just flooded with PSVR2 gamers going, "This needs PSVR2 support. Please consider PSVR2 support." They've heard us. They've heard us. They're being interviewed by multiple journalists, game journalists, about this, and they're saying, "Listen, it's not happening for these reasons," and they're responding to the outcry that came from us, that came from our community, that came from PSVR2 gamers. And I think that's amazing. Because it's quite a full answer as well, isn't it? It's not just like, normally these things they want to bat away and they give like one line just going, it just wasn't developed from the start, and then they move on. Like here, again, regardless if we agree with them or not, they've actually gone into quite a bit of detail of like their philosophy. Again, which in some ways makes it more frustrating. Yeah, and I listen, it makes me.
I like that they use hybrid.
Me too. Asobi team is way bigger than they used to be, right? When Japan Studio folded, when they shut that down, a lot of people ended up at Asobi team. This team is so much bigger than they used to, and I know that reading through this interview, they make it sound like, oh, we've been all in on this game for 100% for the last 4 years. Listen, I don't think that's the case. There's got to be a division of Asobi team that's toiling away at an Astro Bot Rescue Mission 2, or maybe a Rescue Mission 1 remaster. That's super optimistic of me, and I hear it when I say it. It sounds crazy. It's like, Brian, give it up. It's not happening. Shut the fuck up. Trust me, I hear everybody saying that in unison right now out there in the chat. But there's a piece of me that still believes it. There's no way all of Asobi team has been working on this game for 4 years.
Well, it's 80 planets. Oh, yeah, 80 planets in 6 galaxies, man. That's a lot of planets. 4 times bigger than anything they've made before.
Right.
Yeah. What else they've been doing?
Yeah. Listen. I see SB in the chat being like, 0 chance. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I have to sit up here and listen to all the naysayers nonstop. When we didn't hear about Aces of Thunder for 4 months, I was like, oh, it must be canceled. And I'm like, it's not canceled, you guys. Just fucking real. It's fine. Right. And so trust me, I feel like I have to be on the offensive. I have to be on I have to be the voice of a little bit of positivity now and again. And if I'm wrong, I'd rather be wrong and go down going, well, I was at least optimistic in my wrongness. I'll take it.
Can I also say that in other interviews with the creators, I'm just making sure it wasn't actually in this interview we've just done, and I've just like been so tired I've missed it. No, in other interviews they've said about this new game it being 4 times bigger than anything they've made before, and like these 6 galaxies, 80 planets. They did actually also acknowledge the fact that the games they've made in the past have been tech led, about showcasing the tech and then building the game. And they said that like Astro's Playroom is a very segmented game with like, it's just basically a series of mini games. And so in this game, they want it to be a full-fledged like platformer game. Like, you know, it's the whole becoming its own, you know, Mario for PlayStation. And so I think that as well, the fact it's not tech led is also going to go into the fact that, you know, there was no appetite at all to even like look at showcasing the PSVR2 stuff. Because I assume the reason they've done VR games before was because it was the remit. They were paid by Sony. They said, we want you to showcase PS5, PSVR, and that was a part of it. But yeah,
that was their role for a long time. I'm glad. Regardless of what happens with Astro Bot, I'm really, really glad that they're getting to make just a full-fledged game that isn't focused on any one piece of hardware. That's just like, hey, this is just a massive fucking Astro game. You know, as you said, it's like Mario, their Mario Odyssey.
I can't wait to play it.
Not playing
it. Listen, man, I've got Dave the Diver downloaded. I told you guys last week I was playing Animal Well, Crow Country. Like, I've been getting back into some flat screen games lately, and I am very particular about what flat screen games I'm playing. The big AAA ones don't really appeal to me all that much anymore. So I might very well play this. We shall see. No promises. I'll tell you what I did play though. Kayak VR Mirage, Socha Valley DLC, which just came out today. This was they've been teasing this for a while. They've been calling it a massive update. And the fact that it's one new map makes me go, is that massive? But guys, did all three of us get a chance to jump into this?
Yeah, it's a pretty big map too, actually.
It is a big map.
Like I think I quit before the end of it. I played it for like 20 minutes going down this thing, and it still was going. So I don't know how big it is, but it's very big.
Yeah, it is massive. And this is my I think this is my first time through it. And so you guys get to see, like, I was like I'm going to get the feel of it for today. I really am. Like, I've been wanting to get back into this. I'm going to get the feel of kayak. I've been saying this for a fucking year and a half, okay? I cannot get the feel of this game. I cannot get the proper or paddling motion or the right rhythm or whatever. So you're going to see me experiment with kind of like this thing going on. I was trying this a lot, but
figured it out. I figured it out today for the first time. I actually did get it.
Yeah,
I know how to do it now. Yeah.
You got any tips for me?
You've got to take long strokes and follow through. You have to like really bring your arm behind you and make sure that you're getting your paddle all the way out of the water before you bring it forward.
Gotcha.
Because if you keep it low to the boat, you just basically you push yourself in one direction and then push yourself in the opposite direction. So you have to do one long stroke with a lot of follow through, and then the other side, and be very exaggerated about your movements, and it works perfectly.
As you guys can see, I was doing the race and I actually missed the final checkpoint. I was missing all the checkpoints, in all fairness, because it was very tough. And I missed the final one, and it was just like I just went right over the waterfall, and I was like, oh, there's more. And so in the race mode, I just didn't finish it, and I just decided to explore the rest of the map, and it is fucking massive. It is okay. I want to back up a little bit, okay? In my head, this game has so much reprojection, so many reprojection issues that like I was just like, wow, this is really distracting. And that's how I remember it from launch, right? I was like, it is photorealistic, it is beautiful, so much detail in the world, but man, that reprojection, that's gotta go. And playing it today, I went in to be like, okay, it's probably gonna be beautiful, but it's gonna be so much reprojection that's gonna be distracting. Not at all. Like, I just really did not notice the reprojection at all today, and I'm very, very happy to say that, because it just looks stunning as far as I'm concerned.
Dude, this is really interesting. So I love how this game looks. Matt, I was absolutely so giddy when the game first came out. I don't know what it is. When I played this today, it was the least impressed I've been with one of their maps. And one of the things I definitely noticed in this, and maybe it's because of the speed that you're moving, the amount of popping that I saw on this was huge. Now, this is stuff that can be fixed. This has just come out.
LOD popping. Yeah, for sure.
Just like rocks and that constantly changing formation as it's loading in.
Big time.
And it just really, the immersion that I had in the original maps, there was some bits where it sort of came back. There's a bit on the video that I'm seeing now where you go under the bridge and the people start clapping.
Yeah.
And then when you go into the distance, they go to the other side of the bridge, and then they stop clapping. It's not just a fixed thing. They do actually just watch you go off into the distance. Like stuff like that. It's amazing. It's a technical marvel, but I do feel that this game, for something that's also, what, a $6 DLC?
I want to say, was it $7.99? $8, yeah.
So yeah, it was £6. So yeah, I mean, it's the question like people are going to be asking is it worth the upgrade? And my simple answer is, if you're a massive fan of this game, I think it's, you should definitely get it, support them and stuff like that. If you're someone that's like, is this the thing I felt this game was missing, like a mode or two? Is this is this whitewater rafting going to change it? I don't think it is the case. But before I ask the question to you guys, your thoughts on that, I do feel that this is kind of preparation for another update, because we've also been talking about multiplayer, and something that's different on this game that I only noticed when I had it selected so I could see my friends and I could see Brian on it, was you're no longer now just a floating hat. You are a full-bodied character, which looks cool. Like the avatars look great. They're all the same person, I think, and there's no ability to customize it. But for me, that kind of also signals, well, why would you do that? Okay, I guess you can race people's ghosts and it looks a bit more real. But then maybe this is a step towards multiplayer. So, like, if they do a multiplayer as a free update, then there's an argument that, yeah, you should get this map so you can join friends on that one, kind of thing. But yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on it overall, and with the price point in mind as well?
Listen, I'll say this right now. I thought this was. I was a little concerned, right? Because first of all, like, I think everyone assumed this update was going to be free. They kept using the word massive when it came to this update. And so everyone thought, oh, there's probably going to be rapids. There's probably going to be new maps. There's probably going to be multiplayer, blah, blah, blah. And it's probably going to be free. I think that was the assumptions we all made. And so when I saw the press release this morning and it was like, oh, it's a new map and there's full body IK now. And the new map has rapids and it's $8. I was like, whoa. Like, for people who were expecting something else, this is not gonna go over well at all. And so I was concerned, but then I jumped in and I was like, man, you know what? Like, for people who really like this game, it's beautiful, man. It's magical. It's a super long map. Like all different developers have different styles for their DLC in terms of like how they're going to support their game. And I don't know how well Kayak sold. I think it charted once since PSVR2 launched, correct? I remember seeing it once on the sales charts, right? This is not a top seller month after month after month like Pistol Whip that can afford to keep giving us free DLC. In order for this game to survive, I think we're going to have to keep paying for this. And honestly, after seeing today's update, and to answer the question, no, it's not running at 90 native. It's just the reprojection was way less noticeable than it was in my head, at least, or than it was at launch. I will gladly pay to support this game and keep it alive, and so that when the multiplayer does happen, I mean, the multiplayer update will obviously be free for everybody, right? And then they can keep selling us different courses like this. Did you guys see the bears? because the bears are here. Here they are. Oh my god, it's the bears. It's the bears, guys. It's the bears. These are no fucking penguins. They can fight back. Oh shit. Oh shit.
I got into a good scrap with one of them.
Did he throw you across the river?
Kind of like, yeah.
It threw me right at its children, and I was stuck on shore right beside the baby bears. And I'm thinking, man, if this were real life, I'm dead right now. That thing's going to charge me. But it just sat there and watched me sit beside its children until I hit
adopted you.
Yeah, I was the third. The third
it's now
bear.
A baby bear sim.
Amazing.
Yeah, I thought it was beautiful. I enjoyed the whitewater rapids part of it because, like you, Brian, I'm not the best at driving this thing, and I found it much easier in the rapids because all you have to do is just kind of stick your oar in the water to straighten your boat out. So it was much easier to make your way through the map than it normally is. So I appreciated that about it. Well, it's not at 90 hertz native, I guess. I didn't even think about reprojection until you just mentioned it a minute ago. Never even crossed my mind. Didn't notice it at all. But the pop-in, Miles, you're right. It's just everywhere, like constant and everywhere. It didn't break the experience for me, but it did kind of pull off of the immersion a little bit. And the other big problem that it has is the problem that it's always had. And that is you can't use night mode on PlayStation VR2 with this. It's just the mirror is just so. I think it's worse in this game than any other.
The mirror is pretty bad. I did check out like a couple seconds of a night mode. I only had a few seconds to check it out, and I was like, oh man, this should be brilliant. This should be beautiful, right? Like just some stunning lighting, and it was there was like a big nylon sock over my face.
And
it doesn't need to be that way, right? And I don't know what it needs to do in order to not be that. I mean, we've had games that are crazy dark with beautiful lighting. Propagation Paradise Hotel comes to mind. Really, no issues with Mura as far as I'm concerned. And so, like, I'm not a game dev. I don't know how this works, but it would be amazing. So cheating right now. I'm just doing. But yeah, I mean, I would love for them to be able to improve that. It wasn't like unplayable for me. I was just like, it just didn't look as brilliant as, like these really well lit wide open vistas,
Yeah, I love the music in this. Obviously, the music is a bit more upbeat, like sort of melodic drum and bass when you're on the race bits, and then when you're in the quiet bits, it's just zen, lovely. And I just want to give some context as well to my remarks because I obviously was the regular downer on the channel, whereas Brian's the ridiculous oozing optimist about games that we cover.
Yeah, that's how this works.
But yeah. But I also think, in part, Kayak VR was the first PSVR2 experience I had, and it blew my mind. And there is something to the fact that we are now a year and a half in. We've experienced all sorts of graphical qualities. There is no doubt that these are the best locations, or some of the best locations you'll ever see in a VR game. That still remains the case. But I will also say that when I did load up the game and I was in the swimming pool, the lobby, I was amazed again. So, look, the game is great. I think also it being a long day, I dived in, and the pop-in just bothered me. It won't bother other people. The reprojection wasn't really something I noticed much. The other thing I found interesting was I updated the game and then I went into it and I'd already got the code for the DLC. And then on the main menu, when I went to select the DLC, it was playing a video of the DLC. And then I went to the others and there weren't videos then. I was like, oh, that's a really cool feature that when you go over to it, it starts playing a video so you can see what it is. And it turned out it's because I'd not downloaded the DLC yet, and it's like a great way of selling it. So
trying to keep convince you to buy it.
Yeah, and I thought that was a really, really, really cool small thing they've done. But yeah, I'm with you about supporting the devs. Obviously, we can't tell you, the community, like who you should be supporting and not. But whenever there are games, and devs, and someone in the chat says like no DLC should ever be free. We should always, support devs and not have free labor. There are arguments for like some DLC being free for certain games. But like this being such a small team and them really pushing the boundaries of it. And obviously there have been I've seen their Trello or whatever it is where people have requested features, and there's a lot of features they're still looking at, including fishing. And they haven't confirmed they're doing it, but they have like responded to it positively, and it's just a question of priorities. And this is a game that I hope a year from now there is real-time multiplayer. Just to clarify, because there is multiplayer in the game, it's just you're racing each other's ghosts. But like, if they do add multiplayer to just chill out in this place, would be incredible. And I do think it would breathe a whole new amount of life into this game as well.
Yeah, I would love to play with a bunch of people that suck as much as I do, because I would just be laughing the whole time. I would be, and we'd all be laughing because we all suck. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's unlike, what's happening in this footage when, like, start off and there's a bunch of people around me and then I don't see them again for the next fucking hour. Also, did you guys see the original tweet PlayStation put out? Thank you very much to Kisnell, who salvaged the original tweet before it got deleted. Listen, you guys, the Without Parole Discord is the best place for PSVR news, because sometimes shit like this happens, and like people are so on top of it over on our Discord that like we're preserving deleted tweets like this. So thanks, Kisnell. The tweet originally read, "Kayak VR Mirage is coming to PlayStation Plus along with the Socha Valley DLC on PSVR2 June 18th. And then they deleted it because obviously they did not want people knowing that this was going to be a Plus game. How fucking cool is it, guys? After all this time, PSVR2 is getting, and Plus gamers are getting PSVR2 games for free on Plus. This is what we've been asking for. These are like the many ways. Like, get these games in people's library. Convince people to buy a PlayStation VR2 headset by putting these games in your library. We already own 5 games after 5 months, right? Or if you're a premium member, then like there's 6 games that you can get already right now.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like great games, like both Walking Dead games, a bunch of other stuff that I can't remember. Like this is all really, really good news.
And this is an example of when I usually buy for sure a DLC, even for a game that perhaps I wouldn't have bought outright, is when it's on like a PlayStation Plus thing. They often do it when there's a DLC about to come out, because they know that people will play it for free. They don't like to say free because it's technically not. But so if someone who hasn't bought Kayak VR and you play it on premium and enjoy it, then splash out and just buy the DLC. That can be a little boost to help them and that as well. So
Also, this tweet didn't say anything about premium. I think that this could just be a regular monthly free game as part of the Plus.
It's the PlayStation Plus premium catalog.
Oh, it is.
It says it's at the very bottom of the press release. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's in the press release.
It says Kayak VR Mirage will also be joining the PlayStation Plus premium catalog next week. So there's never been a better time to jump in and get kayaking.
Crazy.
There you go.
All right. So premium is where it's at apparently, but I'm still not upgrading.
Nope.
No, although I will say, for the amount that I've spent on things like Dave the Diver and an Animal Well and whatever, Crow Country, I think all 3 of those would have been free or at least discounted with premium. I think they would have paid. It would have paid for itself if I had upgraded. I just like owning shit, I guess. I don't know. I'm very stubborn. I'm very, very outdated in my way of thinking. So guys, I mean, like, so. We all enjoyed the new map. Is this going to be something when real-time multiplayer actually gets implemented? Is this going to be something we will actually come back to? Or because I just feel like Wes is going to say no. He's like, I'm just not interested in this.
I mean, it depends on the context of that, right? Like if it's a legit like race down a long track like the one in the new DLC, I'll give it a shot. I highly doubt this will ever be a regular visit to me unless it does actually become a fishing game.
Oh my god!
Which I don't expect.
Don't fucking tease me like that. That's awesome.
Or if they put like Hot Mermaids, I would probably do it more.
Hot Mermaid DLC.
Yeah, I'm down for that. But no, I think this title obviously has a place in every VR enthusiast catalog as a demo title. This is what you put people into and say, hey, look what VR can do now. And it's great for that, and maybe the best title in the catalog for that.
It's true. It is absolutely beautiful.
People in the chat, I think, are rightly saying the reason the tweet was probably deleted was it was suggesting the DLC was also free. on the PlayStation Premium,
I see,
whereas
yeah.
it's not. I just thought of another idea that I'd love to see. Just when you were talking about like, would it bring you back with multiplayer? If they did multiplayer and you could actually set the slalom poles and like people could create their own, like, because it's an open world, isn't it, on each of the levels? Like you have that free mode, you can go around, and if people could design their own courses and share it with friends, I think that kind of stuff would just be, I say simple, I'm not a dev, but like a little thing they could add, which would just be amazing. And yeah, I would spend a lot more time on it, but
They should give us Venice, Italy.
There you go.
goodness.
They should make it into Road Rash, where like you're going by the other players in real time, and you can take your oar and smash it into them and make them fall out of their fucking kayak. Exactly. Yeah. You can't miss the bear. I'll give somebody something if they know what that fucking reference is.
Someone add Hot Mermaids DLC to their Trello and everyone upvote it. Let's get this to the top for Wes.
Pietrek F with the 12 plantain says, Team Asobi didn't hear about RE4 or any hybrid games, said. Yeah.
Yeah, RE4 didn't actually take advantage of, it wasn't a fully VR thing, so they shouldn't have made it.
Hey, 10 out of 10.
France.
Yeah.
We're going to go fly to France and make Mr. Duche play Sackboy on in PCVR and then talk to him.
There we go.
Now let's try in the game feline with the $5 tip says Astro flat to VR mod. Let's go. I did see the flat to VR mod guys tweet today. It was nice. They're like, let's work together.
Know nothing about them. Nothing about them.
The game cat Andrew Ehrenreich with the $2 tip says, just testing if I can tip again. Can you hear me now? We can hear you loud and clear, Andrew. Thank you so much. Also,
you're supposed to say only some of it came through. Try again.
Spoilers. Andrew Ehrenreich's got the clip of the week this week. No, that's not true. Wait, who has the? No, I'm trying to be all like. I think I'm on last week still. It's a different clip of the week. Magnum Gaming with the $5 tip says, I saw a video of someone saying that the PSVR2 hanging in Astro's Playroom Labu is the only device hanging and may indicate that one is in the works. I love the theories, man.
I love that.
Right?
That is not what's happening. They have gone, well, we have to do something for PSVR2. What would they really like? Okay, we'll give them what they really want. We'll just have a PSVR2 headset in the Playroom game. Oh, that's good. I don't have to worry now.
I do have to say that they're doing something, right? You can tell they're making an effort with us for the first time in a year.
Yeah,
they know people are upset, and they're really doing all that they're giving us all that they've got. They're giving us the PC thing. They're talking about upcoming games that have went silent. That they're getting us titles into the Plus lineup. PSVR 2 is something that's coming up regularly now.
Agreed.
In their correspondence, and it wasn't like that before. So even if we don't get Astro Bot,
launch. Yeah.
Even if we don't get Astro Bot, at least they're trying something. You know.
Living Legend with Canadian 5 says, regardless of VR or not, I can't wait for Astro Bot. Tim from Kind of Funny Games equated it to Mario Galaxy, which we've also done here today, which is no small feat, so you know it will be epic. Indeed. Leo AI with the 20 Sekiro says, end of Astro Bot trailer says, coming to PS5, and then puts the little restricted R in the circle. It says, equals PSVR in Roman. You know what? Whatever makes you happy, whatever you want. Thundercat with the $2 says, yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us? No. Nope, can't hear a thing. Andrew Bailey with the $10 says, I saw nothing in the Aston. It's like, this is Beauty and the Beast. Is this Gaston footage that can't be done in VR? He's talking about Astro Bot. But what's even more maddening is the footage looks like it could be taken from the VR version, i.e. always moving forward in curated camera. Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. Must have been while you were kissing me.
And for what it's worth, Miles, to answer your question from about 20 minutes ago, people would be really surprised to learn that the tracking of VR controllers is 90% done without cameras. Like the software does a very good job of estimating the movement of the controllers just through the sensors that are inside it. The cameras are that last little bit that gets it from the estimated over here to actually right here where it is in real
Great
life.
point. Because
Yeah.
like when you if you do pull your hand behind you, if you're like hitting a tennis ball with a racket, you do feel that. You don't feel like it was with the Move controllers that as soon as you do that, you're like, oh, where's my arm gone? It does have that full fluid motion. So that's a really good point.
Don Cam 94 with the two chieftains says they added PSVR2 headset in Astro's Playroom, by the way. Yeah, but we're real excited about that. Violator with the level 2 membership says, great show, guys. Violator, the GameCap Metal Messiah. Great name as always. The Virtual Resistance with the level 1 membership says, Mr. Douce, more like Mr. Didn't Do Shit.
Yes.
And then
He's got a nice family. He's got a nice family.
I feel like I shouldn't even react to that statement. Violator, the GameCap Metal Messiah with the $5 tip says nothing. But you know what? We love you. Listen, we've been kind of watching this this footage of Kayak the entire time we've been reading through tips, and it does remind me, like, now that they've implemented some rapids, like I need the next map they make, I just need it to be like so much more rapids. It was such
just getting completely messed up. And
I can't imagine it was easy for them to do. Like they must have had to change like some of the physics or whatever in order to make it work right. And so like, why didn't they take fuller advantage of it? You know, like I'm sure this will be something they kind of just include in all maps moving forward, like little sections here and there. But man, I just want like one massive map that's like all insane, like just like rocks and fucking rapids, and just make it crazy. I was surprised how little there was. What's that?
Did you guys get stuck? Did you get stuck in the whirlpool?
Yeah, I got turned around.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah,
I just got stuck in rocks.
I got stuck there
rocks.
too. Anywhere you could get stuck, I got stuck, I think.
I think the answer to that is this game, the water physics are incredible. And so I've played like Survivorman and other games that do have like a bit of whitewater rafting. And although you have the momentum, it is just like an image of a whitewater raft. Whereas here, the water does act like water. And so I can imagine that they're at a disadvantage because of their own success. If they made such an impressive water system when it's still and peaceful and there's a bit of running water, that it's made it harder to sort of have it flow with this new thing. And also, I'm sure there's a comfort setting aspect to it as well. But I'm like, yeah, bring it. They should have a hardcore one.
Did you guys get a chance to check out this new Aces of Thunder footage?
If it's the one from this week.
No, it's from a PSVR breaking news report.
No. Sorry, that was, I did see that one. Sorry, yeah, it was from the breaking news report.
Yeah, PSVR this week comes out on Friday nights, Miles, not Tuesday afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I know you're new around here. What did we think?
My bad.
It's beautiful.
I thought you presented it really well. I love the intros. Really good. You do a good job, man.
Thank you.
I agree with everything that
Brian
you said.
Does a great job.
I agree with everything you said in the video. It looks even better now than it did before, which is kind of crazy to even think about. The detail on the ground is just like, is it going to look like that in the headset? That's immediately where my head's going. Is it really going to look like that? Because if it does, man, that's going to be a great experience.
Yeah, because when it comes to flying games, I know like the cockpit and where you're in is important. But for me, it's like how the ground looks, because that adds to the immersion. I can't remember what was the jet fighter game that we had?
Yeah, I forgot it intentionally. I forgot.
Yeah. But a lot of the ground, some of the city stuff was kind of cool. And when it was raining, that was awesome. But like when you're looking at the ground and it's like, it doesn't look realistic, you just lose that sense of height, which is what you want to feel when you're in a plane. You want to feel like, wow, we're all the way up here. Whereas from seeing this gameplay footage, as you're saying, Wes and Brian, it looks spectacular.
Yeah, and also like I don't understand. I have all the footage except for the new footage here, so I do apologize. So weird. 1 second here.
Sure. No, but I thought that the in air like the aerial firefight shots
Hmm.
looked awesome. It made me wonder to myself just how often is stuff like that actually going to happen in the game.
Right.
I'm hoping, you know, honestly, I'm hoping that this isn't a one for one sim. I hope that the controls are a little bit nerfed, or at least there's an option for that, and it plays a bit more arcadey. Because I find with like flight simulators, sometimes I miss a lot of the detail and the finer stuff just because I'm struggling so much to control the plane and get it to do what I want. Um, I hope it's really simple to control, and that it really allows players to really appreciate not only what's happening on the ground, but what's happening in the air around you. Um, but we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, couldn't find. I have no idea where the footage went, but I I do have my breaking news report, so I'll just play that instead. Yeah, I mean, the level of detail on the ground's great. The fact that these guys had already said that that the game's going to be running at 90 native means that we're going to have this nice, smooth, fast experience. Like you could tell when VR Monkey upgraded Galaxy cards from 60 reprojected to 120 to 90 native, it was just a completely different feeling in the game, where like you actually felt the sense of speed way more. And so I think that's essential for a game like this. My big question now, after seeing like the detail on the ground, the detail in the cockpits, like how great everything looks, is there's always the fear that it's just not going to be super sharp in the headset. The last barrier to entry for this being a beautiful VR game is the resolution in the headset. And so as soon as we find that out, then I think we'll at least know how it'll look and feel. Still lots of other questions we have. The type of content, if this is multiplayer only, all of that stuff, lots more questions. But this all came from their Instagram account, and they started off the post by saying, this is the first in a series of updates that we're going to be bringing you. And so between now and launch, it sounds like they're not going to be quiet anymore. They're going to be talking to us and giving us regular updates. And like I said earlier in the show, a lot of people were really concerned that the game was canceled because we hadn't heard from them in like really 5 months, 6 months. They said in January, I think, that the game was pretty much done. So I guess the question is what happened between January and now? Why did this game that was pretty much done in January? Why are we in June and it's still not here? Do we think Sony stepped in and realized that this is a potential headset seller?
Possibly. Does anyone here know what engine this game is being developed in?
I don't.
Because we did a segment on Virtual Strangers Monday talking about Hellsweeper, and they did a devlog this it was actually quite a while ago that they did it, but it was detailing the entire process of getting dynamic foveated rendering up and running and all the optimization that had to be done for it, and it was a 6-month process for them to do this, where they completely had to change the rendering pipeline in Unity, and optimize a bunch of other things, because as soon as they did that, it broke the game, completely broke everything, broke all the shaders and assets, introduced all sorts of bugs, and they had to work all of that out. And they worked day and night for 6 months to make that happen. And if you're telling me that, here we are 5 months on from when we were supposed to see this game, and it's gone silent, and now we have this new footage and it looks way better, and maybe they decided to do something similar to what Hellsweeper did, only they decided to do it before they launch.
Yeah, which is probably a smarter bet. Sorry, more sirens on my end. Well, listen, I'm definitely to the point now where like I don't even know if this game is coming out this year, because if here we are, we're halfway through the year, we could very well be seeing updates on this for the rest of the year. It would be a great game to launch before the holiday season, and use this as one of your promotional tools to get PSVR2 sold for Christmas. But
Yeah.
At this point, I'm like, you know what? Like, it's just looking so polished and it's looking so good. I don't want them rushing it out the door, just like every other game. Like, I want it to be fucking amazing when we put the headset on and play it.
Yeah.
All right. What do we got next here, guys? We've got
Mighty Coconut are in the chat.
Hey, what's up, Mighty Coconut?
Wonder why they're here.
Hold on.
You guys want
Because I said their name on the last episode. I said it like 3 times, and everyone
Oh, like
laughed.
Candyman.
Is this
Like
like
Candyman.
Beetlejuice?
Summons them a week
Exactly.
later.
I didn't know what I was doing, but now you got it. Now you see.
They're here because they're like because they're like, oh, Wes was teasing shit on last week's show.
That's it.
They're just trying to make sure we're all staying in line. Is what they're doing.
Yeah.
Listen, since Mighty Coconut is here, we'll skip around on the run of show a little bit, and I think we should probably head on over to Twitter and see what those guys are saying about the Walkabout update. So, Walkabout Mini Golf tweets, get ready this Thursday for some exciting free gifts for everyone. Cherry Blossom Remastered and 3 new game modes that'll give players a new way to challenge and enjoy every course. Here's a celebratory haiku. A gift will blossom. Constantly improve your game. Mount Fuji looks on.
Love it. Love a good haiku.
So it looks like tomorrow. Does this imply that tomorrow they'll be announcing and launching 3 new game modes?
Yeah, I guess the update will drop tomorrow. Or today, technically now, in the UK.
Oh, well
and
then,
where they are.
Well then, Miles,
Actually, they're in the States, aren't they?
Miles, get on it.
Yeah. All right, I'll be right back. I'll
Go find out what they are for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, there's I could list probably like 20 game modes that I want Walkabout Mini Golf to have. But listen, what we've been getting from Walkabout for the last forever has been course after course after course after course after course after course. Like they just keep knocking it out of the park, and like it's always interesting. For the most part, they're courses that do something different than any of the courses that we've seen before. There's always something new. But I will say, like, that one of the biggest updates that I've seen is when they added to the lobby area because it used to just be that little hut, right, where you could just like stand around and shoot the shit and like wait for people to show up and select your course. But then they added the whole extra island, right, where you could the practice area where you could practice putting, and then the whole driving area where you could drive balls and compete with each other. And I think it's like we've gotten so much DLC over the last few years that I get way, way, way more excited when they say, hey, we're going to actually change the way you play the game or change some fundamental thing that you're used to in Walkabout. This excites me way more than any DLC course probably ever could.
Yeah, I mean, I know that when I started playing Walkabout Mini Golf, there were a few things I felt were missing from like the core social aspects of the game, and there was a lot of pushback. People going, "No, you just go for Walkabout Mini Golf to chill," which I totally agree with. But I think it is about giving people options. And one of my favorite modes to do in Walkabout Mini Golf is the quick play, because when I first had it, and it was before it launched, we could go into quick play because it had cross play, and so we were able to play with Quest players. And I remember just going on one of these courses, you play 9 holes, and I was just with a player, and it's always so peaceful, and people are never confrontational. They're always just like, hey, how's it going? And they'll give you advice if you need it and tips, and they're happy to talk about the game, and it's just a feel-good game. But as I started playing it with the maps again and again, the thing, and obviously they're talking about game modes, which doesn't necessarily mean it's going to change like the fundamentals of the lobby, but I do wish there was some sense of like, I don't know, like I'm going to say progression system, but I think progression system can take away from it, but some kind of additional competition element, like different ways of experiencing the game, because yeah, you can play with friends, but we know that when it gets to like 8 people, it can take, well, I rarely play it with 8 people because it just takes forever. And then I think that when people join, you can choose for them to either catch up or they just skip to where you are. And I was always like, it'd be nice if like everyone keeps playing and they do catch up as well as you're playing, because you're like, you don't want more ways for the game to be delayed in how long it takes to complete. And so, yeah, there's a lot of things I think that could be optimized with the social element, and 3 new game modes. I mean, that's like
I'm hoping
doubling
to
what
see,
there is already, right?
I'm hoping to see people in the chat like speculate here about what you think the new game modes might be, right? Because I mean, it's fucking mini golf.
Can I guess? Can I guess what they are?
Please guess all 3, and do not read it from a PDF that you might have in your email.
No, I was just joking. You know what I want? I want a mulligan feature. I want it so that if somebody accidentally touches the ball while it's on the ground, they can petition the other players, hey, can I have that stroke back? I didn't mean to do that. And then everyone votes on it, and majority rules.
Yep. I 100% agree with that. That is, it happens every single time I play. There's always one person, and it's always Rypop, but there's always one person who just isn't paying attention. And even when they're using grip to putt, they accidentally just, oh crap, I just grabbed the controller the wrong way or something like that. I agree with that. We definitely need a mulligan feature.
Despite me just mentioning that they need more ways to limit the amount of time it takes for 8 people to get around a course, now we've got like another half an hour of people going, should we give them the mulligan? I'm not sure. I mean, joking aside, I think that is a really good feature, because there's nothing worse, especially when you're teaching new players. It's the most common thing when you're teaching someone for the first time the game, and they're like, oh, I hit it. I didn't realize. It's like,
Yo, dude, we got some great suggestions in the chat here. We got Melkai, the Soul Reaping Game Cat, saying closest to the hole in one shot. I love that. Mitch UK says everybody's golf on Vita had a great daily challenge mode. I hope that's one, dude. I was part of that. I played that every single day. You guys seeing?
Mike Coconut scribbling these down.
Right. People agree with the mulligans for sure.
And it's also going back to what you were saying, Brian, like they have added so many courses, and obviously they're still going to be doing it. It's about time that they now look at the fundamentals of the game as well, like how you can experience the game in different ways, which I think is just, I mean, this was a complete surprise because they've announced so much lately. We had the Wallace and Gromit update. You know, they've got all these maps, and then they announced the, was it the Elvis one? And then they're also doing like, cosmetics that you can buy separately.
Yeah. So they're definitely expanding their business model big time. You know, listen, you gotta love that a course that you're gonna play 100 times, maybe more in your life, is only $4, right? And it comes with the daytime and the nighttime hard mode. You know, it's got all the collectible balls, it's got the unlockable clubs. Like you're actually getting so much more than just a course for more than one course for your $4. So this has been a pretty cool update. What the hell am I looking at?
I think that the DLC should be $8, and I think that the night mode should be unplayable because of Mira. That's just my personal preference.
It's a good idea, actually.
Perfect.
Was that an original idea, or did you steal it from someone?
Anyway, stay tuned. Tomorrow we'll have all the facts for you about all the new game modes, and I definitely want to say, without saying anything, I can't fucking wait.
And also, do we know what the Sunday multiplayer options are? Walkabout's got to be on there now as one of the options.
I don't. As far as I know, Professor Lilith is MIA for a couple weeks, and so somebody else is taking over for her.
Okay.
And so I have not been keeping up as well as I should. I kind of throw it into PSVR this week at the last possible minute.
That's all right. Well, Walkabout would be a great one because we need everyone to check out all these 3 modes.
Guys, if the other part of yesterday's news video was ExoCars.
Yes.
Yeah. Listen. I'm so happy. Even if this is a little bit further out than we initially thought, it looks like the Steam release for it, the Steam Early Access release, which is sort of their alpha build, I think, isn't happening till August. And so it's probably going to be, my guess would probably be 2025 before we see this on PSVR 2. However, dude, this looks fantastic. This looks fantastic. It's something we need on PlayStation VR 2 because it's straight up an arcade racer. Right.
Yeah.
I feel like I gave in with Gran Turismo and was like, okay, listen, it's the only big racing game we have in VR, so I'm gonna play the crap out of it. And luckily, it pulled me in, it roped me in, and I was obsessed with it until I rolled credits and had to move on to another game. I am so happy to have an arcade racer coming our way, even if it takes a little longer than expected.
Agreed. It looks awesome.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, these guys are they're fast. Like it doesn't take them long to develop games. If you go into Steam and click on their developer name, it'll show their list, and they're 7 deep right now since 2020. So
Wow.
these guys are quick. This will be their 3rd racing game that they've
Wow.
published on Steam, and
so this isn't out on Steam already. This hasn't come out at all yet.
Nope.
Is that right?
No, this one's not out on Steam. They've got 5 released on Steam and 2 coming up. And for what it's worth, their earlier games were fairly well received. They didn't sell a bunch because they're kind of original, to be honest. The other titles that they've done have had some pretty original mechanics to them. This looks a bit more conventional, and it looks awesome, by the way. I think this game looks great. I love hearing about the urban mode. I'd like to see some footage of that. No, I'm excited for this. I think it looks good.
It looks fast.
Interestingly enough, there's not footage of the urban mode, but there are screenshots if you go over to the Steam page. What it looks like is, you remember Terminator 2?
Yeah.
When they're racing through that, like, you know, that dry canal thing under bridges and shit. That's kind of what it looks like.
Dude, you are so right. Oh, I was like, what are you talking about? And I was saying, yeah, I know exactly. Do you reckon there's gonna be a massive truck that comes over the bridge?
That'd be amazing. Oh, crap.
Helicopter.
Yeah.
Wait. Why is there music playing? Where's this coming from? Oh no. Stop.
Oh no. Is it good music?
Oh my god, dude. It's so loud. Hold on a second. So sorry. Oh, here it is. Hold on. Almost there. Whew. I'm so sorry. Okay, it should all be fixed now.
Sorry, on the podcast, people.
I was copying the Steam link, and I accidentally copied 2 links simultaneously.
Nihilist Ryan in the chat says, "Exo my ears."
Okay, so if we go over to the Steam page here, then we can click on. Here we go. This screenshot kind of shows us what we're looking at here. And so yeah, you can see, like, so I was a little disappointed that we weren't racing through like city streets and shit like that. But you know what? Like, for the style of game this looks pretty fucking cool too. Very happy to hear that it's got drifting, and that drifting kind of accelerates the boost meter type thing. I always really enjoy that in games. Wheel support. What they're showing so far in the gameplay footage is the asynchronous multiplayer mode. That's why, you know, you're clipping through enemies, because you're just racing ghost times basically. And so I'm guessing that it's just a little too early in development to be showing off the collision. Like, they probably don't have that perfected yet for the real-time multiplayer stuff. I know it's some things people were concerned about. I don't think there's any reason to be concerned, not yet. This is pretty exciting.
Agreed.
That's great. We haven't seen a Doom buggy racer yet that I can think of. This is a unique take on a popular genre. So,
dude, if they nail that feedback on the wheel, like racing over dirt, you know, the same way that Gran Turismo does it for the rally stuff, like it's just so good. I hope they're able to nail that.
And the drifting is going to feel great. And I also think, like, GT7 for me personally, the two sort of aspects of it I love most. One is obviously as you're going around the corners and you can look out the right window, like that's just VRAF. You know, being in this framed buggy and just being able to see all around you. And then on GT7, when you're on the go-kart so low to the ground, you can see the wheels and like you're so close to the ground. Being in these buggies, in these cages and just seeing the dirt coming from the wheels around you. If they nail that, it's going to feel super immersive. So yeah, really, really hyped. And as I said already, from just the trailer alone, it looks fast. Which is obviously the concern we sometimes have about these games is they sometimes like, I'm seeing speed, I'm seeing stuff go fast, but do you feel the acceleration? And it looks hype.
Andrew Ehrenreich in the chat with the $2 tip says, hello, is this thing on? Nope, just keep tapping.
Hello.
It, man. We'll let you know when we can hear you. The Game Cat Andrew Ehrenreich with another $2 tip says, a Game Cat walks into a bar and can't see a thing. Wait, do we don't have good vision, or are we just calling us a bunch of drunks? I don't know. It's one or the other. I approve of either one, though. As somebody who's drunk for,
I don't understand it, but I've liked it.
As somebody who's been drunk, was drunk for 15 years of his life, I approve this message. It was a good 15 years. I don't remember most of it. Violator, the Game Cat Metal Messiah, with the $5 tip says, I laughed my ass off watching Miles get her with his Jesus stick on his Let's Play. LOL. What the fuck is he talking about?
I have no idea. Can someone... Well, I don't really want anyone to clarify what they're on about. I don't remember this.
Get her with his Jesus stick.
Get her with his Jesus... No.
Okay. All right.
I kind of feel like that's something that I would have definitely remembered. But, yeah, doesn't ring any bells.
Okay.
Let's move on. Let's move on. But thank you for the tip.
Perfect. Macho, the real estate procrasting Game Cat with a $2 tip says, we need games like Midnight Club and Need for Speed in VR. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. I was playing the Midnight Club games, the PSP versions of Midnight Club. I think it was like 3 dub edition or something like that. And even those games were amazing. Like, they somehow like really made them run fast and smooth on the PSP. So let's get that shit running on a PSVR2. Midnight Club would be great, racing through city streets with a bunch of friends, dodging regular ass traffic and weaving in and out between buildings. It'd be great. Love it.
That'd be awesome. The Jesus stick is like the crucifix. They're talking about Exorcist VR. I can't remember. I mean, I was just holding the cross the entire time, just because I thought Jesus would keep me safe.
Just holding it like a shield in front of you. Yeah.
Just like, please don't. It was genuinely horrifying, that game.
Oh, good.
Especially the baby level, the baby in the crib. Creepy,
dude. That was my that was the one that scared me the most when I played through it back on PSVR1. That was the hardest one for me to get through. In my review, I was like, I've unfortunately played through this 6 times, so I don't know how well the scares hold up. But you know, they were delivered, I believe, better than ever on PSVR2. And so hearing from you, that's like, you know, this is your first time with it, and that it's like fucking scary. That's exactly what I wanted to hear.
Especially after Madison, this still kept me tense. And like, it's just great that opening level in the church where it's like completely dark. It looks great. Like, you're like, this, it looks super dark. Have you played it, Wes? Exorcist VR Legion?
Yeah, I didn't play through it, but I did sample it just to see what the game kind of looks and plays like on PSVR, and it looks great, man. It looks just like the next gen version that we were hoping for. It's absolutely still a relevant title in 2024, and still one of the scariest horror games in VR today. So yeah, no, they did a great job with that one.
I definitely hats off again. You know, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Hats off to VR Monkey for an amazing port. And
they are machines.
Yeah, they are absolutely.
They're just
machines.
like, oh, what VR game have we got today? Oh, let me just reach here. Oh, let's just do this. We got this one.
Right.
Like,
if I told you the number of games that they have in development and that they're porting for other people simultaneously, the number of games that they have at Sony going through QA, you wouldn't believe me, because they're not a big team, and but they know their shit, man. They know how to they know how to fix stuff. They know how to port stuff, and I'm really, really glad that they're the kind of team that is receptive to criticism, right? Because you know, when I had told Fun Train, the second we'd gotten Exorcist keys, there's something wrong here. This thing stutters like crazy. And they're like, oh, no one over here had that problem. And so I just went to VR Monkey and I said, dude, there's something wrong. Your game stutters like crazy. And they were like, no, wait, like tell us more. How, you know, like what's the problem? Like they wanted to know. Fun Train was like, whatever. And VR Monkey was like, tell us more. What were you experiencing? We want to fix this. And I was like, fuck yeah, man. Like two
Don't
very
you love it when developers say that? Like I did, it's not doing that for us.
right.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what?
It is
Then
unbelievable.
then fine. Like, you know, you got a
Yeah.
week to launch to fix it. I won't tell you anything else. No,
You're literally getting offered free play testing.
Free
Like that's
beta
what
testing,
happens when
yeah.
someone comes to you and say, yeah, I've got an issue. It's like you're being given free feedback, and if it's coming ahead of launch, you're being given a heads up. Like, and when it was something as bad as that, you know, you want to know about that as soon as you can.
Listen, no disrespect to Fun Train, right? Like I'm probably making it sound worse than it was, but it's funnier that way. But let's keep in mind that Fun Train's are also the same team that were like, hey, Wolf and Wood made an amazing Exorcist game for us with 5 chapters of Exorcist Legion VR last gen. So let's get a much worse studio, Pocket Money Games, to do the follow-up, Exorcist Legion VR Sin, the multiplayer one. And it was like, they did this without even fucking telling Wolf and Wood, right? Wolf and Wood were like shocked. They were like at the announcement, they were like, this is the first we're hearing of it. Like we have nothing to do with this whatsoever. And
I didn't realize that.
And then Pocket Money Games have made like really nothing to write home about. You know, the Twilight Zone game, I don't think is terribly good. Maybe 6 out of 10 at best with the improvements that VR Monkey made to it. The thing runs super silky smooth, and it may be worth playing through for, you know, a couple of interesting moments. But
In fairness, when VR Monkey was new, they missed a few times as well.
Yep.
There's a learning process, and studios can get better. And we're pulling for Pocket Money Games. We hope that they knock it out of the park.
we are indeed. However, the game was supposed to be out a year ago, and we still haven't seen a screenshot.
Tarzan's coming out next week.
Oh, yeah, right. That was Stone Punk Studios, right?
Originally, yes. But it was ported to Quest and PSVR by whom?
VR Monkey.
VR Monkey.
And it wasn't a
They
very
did a
good
terrible
port.
job. Yeah.
Right. I'm actually excited to check it out because I want to see what you guys played on PC VR a couple years ago. I believe like the press release from Fun Train said that Tarzan is going to be the best version of Tarzan yet, and so I can't wait because the trailers that we saw were kind of beautiful. Like they had like a pretty cool art style and like lush, vibrant colors, and you know that the OLED panels of the PSVR2 are going to really make that game pop like never before. And hopefully the gameplay is all polished out now too.
So it's not going to be Game of the Year. I'll say that.
I wasn't expecting it to.
It's still very arcadey, and some of the voice acting and lines are a little silly. But it was better on PC than it was on the other platforms. And they've even supposedly tweaked like the enemy AI, which was the big weakness of the game for me all along since I've played it. So it may be the definitive version when it hits PSVR next week. I guess we'll find out.
Yep. Listen, we're always pulling for every developer. So anytime we have to like point out when somebody made something that wasn't so great, doesn't mean we want them to fail. We want every developer to succeed. Because if they succeed, then they get to make another VR game. And as we saw with, I think the biggest success story on that might be Vitruvius. A lot of people would say Sin Studio, but Vitruvius is my go-to because they made Mervils, which was like an N64 platformer, and they made Shadow Legends, which was like a super fucking immersive game that made Jeremy King coin the phrase VRAF. And now we have Arcanage coming, which is a full-fledged adventure from these guys. And man, yet another studio that really listens to people, right? That game was running at 120 reprojected. And I was like, guys, guys, your game looks amazing. I don't want this to be the thing that tanks it on PSVR 2. And they listened, and that, you know, they're bringing a 90 native mode to it. So, but yeah, then Sin Studio obviously had just tons of failures before Swordsman, which was a gigantic success for them that they kept improving over the years. Yep.
And we got Monkey Do, haven't we? Monkey Doo Doo, Poo Poo, whatever it's called.
Monkey See, Monkey Doo Doo.
Yeah, that one.
You
Is that
excited?
coming over?
You excited for
I
that?
don't know.
Yeah.
It was announced a while ago, wasn't it? It's still
Yeah.
coming out? I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if
hyped
it's
for that.
still coming out, but I definitely included it in a PSVR this week, so I've got it right here. Unleash the monkey, throw the doo-doo.
I love it,
bananas.
man. It's super cool.
Listen, it looks fun. Okay, I love it.
Exactly, and it's VRAF, man. Like, you can't do that shit in real life.
I mean, you
Sure
can.
you can.
Yeah.
You get arrested.
Yeah, it's not. But then you got to clean up afterwards. This, I assume, there's going to be no like clean your hand mechanic. It's just going to be clean each time.
Lick your hand to clean it in VR.
Oh God, what if that is it? You have
What
to
if
like,
that's
and
it?
the headset rumble. Yeah,
Yeah, and then you
Yeah.
throw up because you've eaten your own poop.
yeah.
Yeah.
God, this is wicked. I'm super hyped.
Well, now you've spoiled it. This was supposed to be 20 questions.
Ah,
Yeah. Here, let's check in with
My bad.
the tips, because I know there were a couple more. We got Fox Die Infected with the level 3 membership saying we need Burnout VR. Imagine how the takedowns would look. That would look incredible. Absolutely incredible.
We
Violator,
definitely need. We definitely. I'm sorry. I didn't
Don't be
mean to
sorry.
interrupt.
No, tell
I
me to shut
agree
up.
with the sentiment. VR needs battle racers, big time. And I'm surprised that this isn't something that was just abundantly obvious from the very beginning. There's not many no-brainers left for VR, but this is definitely one of them.
Do you remember? Oh my god, what the hell was it called? It was by Imagination, Imagination. It was like mono wheel. Hold on a second, I'm looking it up here. Here it is. Yeah, here's the trailer. It's called Mono Wheels, and it was essentially like Road Rash, except you were racing in this gigantic single wheel vehicle that went like right over your head.
like the thing from South Park.
Maybe. Oh man,
with Smug when they all buy the vehicles.
yeah, I'm so sad that this game never got finished. This was because it was a battle racer. It was going to deliver on that kart racer feel. It was going to deliver on the road rash thing that we wanted. And like I stayed in touch with these guys for a while, and like there was a chance at one point that it was coming back. Like they got some funding that they desperately needed, and then it just didn't happen. But it looks, I mean, this trailer is from like 2016 or 2017. It is old, right? That's why it looks very primitive. It never made it too far into development. But yeah, that's one of the sad losses I feel like we missed out on. Violator, the Game Cat Metal Messiah with the $10 tip says VR Monkey bringing over Astro. If only, man. If only. I feel like I would trust them to do it. All right, guys. Kind of a slow release week for actual new games. But on Friday, I believe, Retropolis 2, Never Say Goodbye, comes out on PSVR 2. This is, and I believe the embargo lifted this morning. I'm working on my review. It should be out tonight before I go to sleep. But I was curious to hear some impressions from you guys if you've had a chance to check it out.
I'll go first because I'll be quick. I haven't played it.
You should have gone last.
That's true.
Yeah.
Wes, how good is it?
I have played a chapter of it on Quest. I have not checked out the PSVR version yet.
Mhm.
I do have it, and we are planning to play completely through it and have a review discussion of it on the Virtual Strangers channel. But so far, so good, man. This is a sequel to a title that we loved years ago on Steam VR, and I it's been so long since I had played the original. I didn't quite remember why I liked it so much. I remember that I did like it. I remember that it was similar to like an I Expect You to Die type game. And I remember that I liked it more than I Expect You to Die. Um, but then I got in the headset and it all came crashing back to me. The art style is simply beautiful. Everything's done by hand in this game. All of the environments, all of the characters, everything's done by hand in a program called Quill 3D art program. Um, the story is intriguing. The voice acting is good, and the puzzles are just right. They're not too easy. They're not too tough. It's very much one of those trial and error point and click puzzlers where you're finding an item to use with something else that unlocks another item. And now that you have this item, you can go over here and it works with this. It's a problem solving game, and you're very much using logic to find your way around obstacles and further the story. And it's just very well done. It's super impressive, given that this is just a couple, two or three dudes that made this. And I think it's really good so far.
I'm going to agree for the most part. The review will be, for the most part, pretty positive. But going down Wes's list of things that he mentioned, starting with the graphics, I think that the art design here is great. I really do. I think that the character models are cool. I think that I think the environments are unique, and they've kind of created this world that is sort of easy to get into and somewhat believable. It's, you know, this future where everybody's a robot, and it's just kind of fun to be in the world. What I didn't love is that they didn't use the PSVR2 very well to take advantage of this art style. This is like, you would expect to put the headset on and have this thing like pop out at you, right? Like, this is going to be 3D as hell. It's going to be so vivid and so 3D and so immersive, but you can tell they're not using like super sampling of any kind. It's just like kind of like this soft look rather than like the super hard edges, you know, crystal clear, where this art style should blow you away in VR. It should be so in your face, but instead it all kind of just seems a little on the flat side with PSVR 2. Mm-hmm. And that bums me out so much because I just feel like it's like this, it didn't quite live up to the potential. And so while I do like the look of it overall, I don't like that they didn't utilize, you know, DFR or whatever it would have taken in order to like really fucking maximize that resolution to get the effect that we need. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think DFR needs to be in every game. I don't think every single game needs to. This is a game that like deserves to pop out at you. Like, I in my review, I refer to a Viewmaster, right? Because it just, remember Viewmasters back in when we were kids, right? Everything like really popped, these hard, you know, image. That's what this game needs, and it doesn't get it, unfortunately. So. Yeah, that bums me out a little bit. The voice acting overall is good. I do not like whoever's playing the lead role. It constantly makes me feel like he's like hiding an accent, and I'd rather hear the accent than have him hide it. And if it's his real voice, then I'm like, you know what? Then I feel like maybe we needed a better voice actor, because when he talks, it pulls me out, and I'm not relating his voice to this character, but I do think that overall the voice acting is pretty good. But I'm spot on with you, Wes, with the puzzles. I think the puzzles, you said you got through what, chapter 1?
Yeah.
The puzzles in chapter 1 are good for the most part, and I think they get better throughout the game. There's some very like, hey, here's a puzzle, now solve it. Hey, here's a puzzle, now solve it. Hey, here's a puzzle, now solve it, in chapter 1. And that doesn't really happen so much in chapter 2. It's sort of like, oh, I know I need to get through that door over there, but there's a person over here that's keeping me from doing it. And what does that person need? And, you know, it's more like, go through the steps and figure it out. Like, what is the puzzle? What am I trying to do? Like a solid point and click adventure. It's a good game. My review, I think I'm going to stick with my 7.7, which I've got currently in my Premiere review project, which means that like if you like point and click adventure games, definitely check it out. But just keep in mind that, like, you know, it was made by a couple people, and the low production values do come into play here and there with the overall presentation, I believe, but that shouldn't keep you from playing it. I think it's a really fun adventure with a really great story and some really cool puzzles.
Nice.
What do you think, Miles?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna hopefully be Let's Playing it on Friday. So I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent. Everybody
It
subscribe
seems
to
like a
Miles.
good game. Seems like a good game to. I mean, doesn't matter. I Let's Play them anyway. But it seems like a game that would be a good Let's Play. Like it's narrative based, some puzzles and.
It's
cool
good, but it does have that thing that all puzzle games have when you stream them. Because if you get stuck, now the walls are coming in on you, right?
Yeah.
You're on something for 20 minutes and you haven't moved, and then things become exponentially more difficult.
And then you have 200 people talking to you at once going, try this, try this, try this, try this. And you're like,
Get
one of
to your
those
left,
answers was...
And it's on a lag,
right?
Like after you're like on the next bit.
Right.
And it is one of those games where you try the same thing 30 times. Like maybe it's going to work this time.
Yeah.
And you have to hear the same voice line being spoken
Right.
over and over and over and over again. It never shuts up. It always says the same thing.
Yeah, that happened to me, I think, twice. We were just taking one thing and just trying it on everything. And it's like, can you record some extra dialogue for when I try this for the 7th time, please? But yeah, dude, and honestly, if anybody is out there, again, I'm just doing this for the sake of people who decide to show up here and don't want to wait for the review. This will all be included in the review. I was nervous because it's called Retropolis 2, Never Say Goodbye. And I was like, but I didn't play Retropolis 1. Like, am I going to be missing out on everything? I think they do an excellent job. An excellent job of getting you caught up. And it's like an interactive way of getting you caught up. Like you actually... there's a detective board, with the white pins and the red string, and you actually pick up the pictures and you put them on the board, and then you move the pins around and move the string around, and as you're making these connections on the detective board, the main character is giving you backstory, saying, oh, this is who this person is, and this is why this is important, and blah blah blah. So it's almost like you're filling in the backstory yourself. You're figuring it out. And I was like, this is such a brilliant way to do this. Like, I feel like I didn't miss a beat. The only thing I feel like I missed out on was that I didn't have the connection to some of these characters, right? At the very beginning of the game, you're like searching for your missing girlfriend and you're like, well, I don't give a fuck. I never even met her, Mm-hmm. That's the only thing I felt like I missed out on. Other than that, I don't think, I don't think it's anything. I don't think you're missing out on much. Asmo Astro in the chat says, how long is the game? It took me 4 hours. I think on the dot, maybe a little over.
Is there a platinum?
There is a platinum. And I'm not anywhere close to getting it. It's just like I'm gonna have to make a list of things I need to do in the game and go play through it again, because it's just like it's not just, oh, finish chapter 1, finish chapter 2, finish chapter 3. It is a list of stuff that you could easily not do. So I don't think it's a super difficult platinum. I just think you got to be very conscientious about what you're doing in the game when you play through it in order to get it. And for those 4 hours that I was playing, I stumbled. Like there were definitely moments where I was like just going back and forth through hallways and like, what the fuck am I supposed to do next? Ended up back in the same room, just missing the next thing I was supposed to do. So I think some people will get through this a little bit faster if they're just like really, really good at this stuff and are really good about checking every detail in every room. But there's going to be people who struggle with this and take way longer, for sure. Guys, is that it? Are we all caught up?
I think we are.
Holy crap. Guys, it's time for 20 questions. And you know what? You know what's awesome about this is I'm the host. I haven't been the host for 20 questions in so long. I'm actually really, really excited that I don't have to guess today. But I do want to make sure that I bring the game up and have it all ready here so that I have all the facts that I need. Are you guys ready? That's the bigger question here.
I'm ready.
As ready as ever.
Amazing. I'll be ready in just a moment, I promise. All right, here we go, you guys. I'm going to bring up the timer. You guys in the chat already know how this works. Make sure you help these guys out. Suggest good questions for them to ask, and then based on the answers that I give, suggest good games that it might be. You've only got 6 minutes. That's the big problem here. And 20 yes or no
Okay.
questions. Where is the timer? There it is. On your mark, get Des.
You go first, Wes.
Go.
Is this a PlayStation VR2 game?
Nope.
Does it have a multiplayer?
Nope.
Does it support full locomotion?
Sometimes.
Are you shooting things like weapons in this game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it first person?
Yep. That's 5.
They gone for a realistic aesthetic?
I think so, yeah.
Realism.
Is it based upon a known IP?
Yes.
Oh, known IP. Is it? This is a risky one. Oh no, I was going to say. It uses the Move controllers.
Yes.
Does it use aim controller?
No.
No aim. Are you traversing at any point in this game? So that could be ladders or walls.
Are you traversing at any point in this game?
Yeah. So because at the moment we know that there's full locomotion and other, or there is sometimes, and that would be like going across a level. But I'm talking about like, are you ever like climbing up, like going to other levels? Not talking about stairs, but like climb up a ladder using your hands to like get to places.
No, that's 10.
No.
Do you fly in this game?
You sure do, Wes.
Oh my god! How am I not?
Read the chat.
Yeah. Read the chat.
Yeah, but I didn't think that was going for realism. But
I mean, kinda.
I guess so. Do you play as a man?
Yes.
Okay.
Is this from the from a Marvel IP?
It is indeed.
And are you somewhat made of iron?
The man that you're playing as?
Yeah.
No.
Interesting.
This is so dumb.
I don't know. It's Wes's turn now.
Man.
Quite
What
tricky,
was this game? Was this game?
Oh, for the love of God, one of you guess it.
Was this
No,
game Was this game ported from PlayStation VR to MetaQuest?
With improvements, indeed. Yes, it was. That's 15.
Mm.
And the improvements negate some of my earlier answers to your questions.
Interesting. And
This is painful.
do you fly alongside a jumbo jet, like a plane, like a passenger aircraft in this?
Oh my God, in 16, you got it. I can't believe you got it in 16 questions. What? Marvel's Iron Man. What an amazing last minute guess,
What?
Miles.
I didn't even get. Okay.
Unbelievable. Guess, well done. I got it. Looper got it in 4.
Okay,
yeah, we were
4. Pegged from the beginning.
4. Yeah. Okay. Looper. I don't think Looper should be allowed to play anymore.
But to be fair, the chat can just keep guessing. They just keep guessing.
Listen, this was an easier one for sure. So I don't know how. It seems like the chat would have gotten it pretty quickly, But man, oh man, Looper got it
was Iron
way
Man.
too
Okay.
easily.
I
easily.
mean, fine. I was still trying to work out.
I
Marvel's
feel like
Iron Man.
Looper's one of the. I feel like Looper might be one of these mentalists who use their eyes and things to suggest things, and then tell people to guess, and they guessed exactly what they were supposed to guess. I think you saw Spider-Man on Miles' wall, and Looper said, it must be a Marvel IP. It must be Iron Man." And wow, because he nails it a lot early like that. I don't get it.
Yeah, Ian Stanbridge says, so just to confirm, this game isn't Neptune Flux. So good, man. So good. So good.
I would have loved to experience this on PSVR2 with all the.
It's a shame, man. With the haptics that we got in the Sense controllers, would be unbelievable. In the adaptive triggers, because it felt so good on PSVR1 to pull the move controller triggers and just go and just lift off the ground. It felt incredible. But to actually have some sensation that, to feel in the Sense controllers, to feel, the resistance on the adaptive triggers as you launch into the air. I mean, really, 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 like I think, this game had issues on PS4 and even PS5 on PSVR1 because just the load times were fucking awful, right? And then you were teleporting through Stark Mansion or Manor or whatever the hell it is, and it was just like little things here and there. And then they fixed it all on Quest. But what about us? What about us? We definitely wanted. I would love to be able to play through this again in an even better state. Laura May VR with the 129 Sekiro says, "Thanks for another great show, and I just ate way too many cookies."
Any left? Please send.
I mean, the bigger question is, what kind of cookies? I hope they're peanut butter cookies. Peanut butter cookies are the best cookies.
I bet they're those Korean cookies, like we got when we were in Boston as a gift. Remember?
BJ from Urban Wolf.
BJ, yeah. BJ brought us gifts, and they were Korean cookies.
Sorry about the sirens on my end. I feel terrible because I don't know how they were because I accidentally left them in the hotel room. And I didn't have any before I left. I felt bad. So, all right, you guys, it is time to get out of here. Thank you so much, everybody. It's always a pleasure to be able to get in here and do this and hang out with you guys, hang out with all the cats. Shout out real quick to all the moderators that make my life so much easier, not just here, but over on Discord. Everyone come join Discord. It's like where the party happens 24/7. Also, a special shout out to Rypop, who gets this thing up on podcast services of your choice each and every single week. Shout out to Rody, who puts timestamps into the show after the fact. If there's no timestamps, just fucking wait longer because they'll be there eventually. I wish I had a better answer for you, but just be patient. He does. Everybody volunteers to help make this channel run, and I appreciate it so much. But also, shout out to everybody. Supports the channel financially. Patreon.com/withoutprogames here by being a member, or people who tip during the show. You guys keep the lights on. I really, really appreciate it. You keep the channel running. Thanks to everybody who hangs out, shoots the shit. But we also know that there's a whole lot of you that sit back and watch the show and don't say a goddamn word, and we do still love you just as much. Guys, here it is. It's your clip of the week from Igme. Let's go. That wasn't it. Let's try it again. Let's go.
What? That is... I didn't know this was possible. Oh my god! I want to play this. Wait, you can play this in VR? Oh my god! I didn't know this was possible. This is like my favourite game mode now. I need to do this.
Oh my god. Kayak VR Rapids. What a fucking clickbait title. There's very few rapids. All right, guys, before we get out of here, I think it's probably time to check out what was happening on this day in Without. It was amazing, wasn't it? So good.
I always wanted to do something like that in GT7. I remember playing Wreckfest. Oh man, if that came to VR, that'd be awesome. But because Wreckfest had lawnmowers, you could race on lawnmowers on it, and then there were modes where you could be someone's in a tractor or car, and then someone's on a lawnmower, and you just see them just crash into each other, and the lawnmower people just fly off. But that was an amazing clip. Amazing.
I'm trying to figure out how far back we should go. Do you guys want to go to 2021 or 2022?
21. Let's do 21. Let's have a look.
All right. I can't even see because the thumbnail's so small. But this is what's happening this day in Without Parole history, June 2021. Despite stiff competition, Firewall prevails. What the hell was happening here? Like, who's even in the thumbnail? This is who's the girl with the pink hair? Was that from Firewall? What the hell am I? This is
Arsenauts, maybe?
No, from 2021. Yeah, I guess so, right? So I guess we've got Alvo on the right hand side. We've got their own game, Solaris, right? And then I think the guy on the left in the foreground is from Firewall. What the hell? But yeah, we were definitely out of headlines in 2021, apparently. You guys stuck with us anyway. Thank you so much. Sorry.
Don't judge a book by its cover. That's the lesson.
Yeah. Hey, Firewall 0 Hour held on the entire time it was out for PSVR1, and even beyond that. It lasted into the PSVR2 generation. It's just a shame that Ultra didn't. It's a shame that Ultra didn't prevail.
It's painful. Is it still running, Ultra? Is the game still being supported? We know for the foreseeable future, like the servers and that.
I don't have answers for you, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it is running right now. You can play it right now. Still,
you can play it right now.
Yeah.
Now, Ryan says, you know who else likes their competition stiff? Which I think is a great way to end.